Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have this Halloween makeup look for you guys. It is inspired by Crispy and Vicky. I will leave their Instagram details and YouTube channel in the info box below, but it's my take on a rather colourful midnight skull. So if you'd like to see how to get this Halloween makeup look, then please keep watching. So as always, I'm starting off with skincare first. I'm taking my Tatcha Camelia lip balm and putting that on my lips. And for moisturiser, I use the Body Shop Drops of Light moisturiser and putting that all over my face and making sure that's nice and soaked into my skin before moving on to primer. So I always wait about 5 or 10 minutes to let that soak in. So for primer, I used this YSL Gold Primer. It is so luxurious and it smooths out my skin so incredibly well. So just making sure my skin's nice and protected before we put all the makeup on top. So for foundation, I used a mixture of the MAC Face and Body, and then on top of that I added the Body Shop Light Adjusting Drops in the light shade. It's kind of like a more wearable white face paint for your face, and it also helps lighten up the foundation. So you can see me doing that here. I'm dotting it around my face and then blending that away with my beauty blender, and this is going to give us that really white kind of skull looking effect. And then I'm also highlighting the usual areas that I generally highlight using concealer, just to make it a little bit more whiter and add a bit of a dimension to my whole face rather than it looking really flat. For concealer, I'm using the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. I believe this is in the shade Light, and I'm putting that on top of those highlighted areas just to intensify that highlight a little bit more. And this way it naturally adds shadow to the skin as well, because our foundation is a lot darker than this really bright white shade. So I'm just putting that in those usual areas and then blending everything away with my damp beauty blender. And as you can see, I'm looking rather ghostly. So to set everything in place, I'm using my Kick-Ass Soap and Glory powder. I'm first setting the areas where we applied the concealer, and then I am just kind of like dusting it over the rest of the face so that's nice and set. And any powders that we add on top are just going to be easier to blend. I then moved on to my brows. I used none other than my Soap and Glory Archery, and this is in the shade Hot Chocolate. So I'm just running the spoolie through my brows and filling them in as usual. I tried to go for quite a bold brow, so to speak, but not too blocky. But it's slightly thicker than my usual kind of way of wearing my brows. But I really liked the final outcome. I feel like I'm going to do this a lot more. So once I've got that all sorted, I'm just going to set them all in place using my Benefit Gimme Brow. This is in the lightest shade. I just like using this because it makes my brows look a lot more natural. Right, moving on to the eyes. So I'm using the Sephora, it's kind of like an eyeshadow pencil. It's waterproof, it's really good. I'm putting that on both of my eyes first and then blending it away. Now this stuff sets really quickly, so I technically should have done one eye at a time because you'll see me struggling on the other eye. So note to self, definitely do one eye at a time. So yeah, next time I definitely need to remember that. So once I've got both of my eyes blended out with the primer, I am just going to set again everything in place using that same Kick-Ass powder. So the first eyeshadow I'm using is Makeup Geek's Chickadee, and this is a really nice kind of brownie orange shade, and I'm putting that into the crease and also up in the inner corner, and this is going to give it that really sunken in effect. And basically I'm just layering this color until it is quite intense, and this is just going to help with all of the colors to blend together. Now I'm taking Marrakech by Artist of Makeup. This is a really beautiful but really wearable like orange shade. I'm just adding that on top just to add a little bit more dimension. Now we're going to go in with the color. So the first color I'm using is this one right here in the corner called Chaos from the Electric palette, and I'm slowly packing this on to the whole of my eyelid. I wanted this skull to be really colorful, but then I ended up just using lots of purples and blues. I actually wanted to add loads of glitter. I tried it and I had to cut all of that out because it just really did not look right. But here I'm taking these two shades and I'm adding that into the crease. So you've got like a blue eyelid, a purple crease, and then a little bit of orange seeping through in the crease as well, just to give it that really nice transition color so it's not very blocky. So what I'm doing with this is I'm definitely adding a lot of it to the inner upper corner of my eye, so where my eyebrow starts, and this is again is going to give that sunken in effect. So I'm just adding that in both my eyes to make sure that they're both even. Then taking this Chaos shade again, I am running that on my lower lash line. And this is just to obviously even out the top and the bottom of the eyes. And then once I've got the blue on there, I'm going over again on top with these two purple shades, and I'm just going to run that along the kind of edge of that, just so that everything is nice and blended, and you've still got a hint of that purple underneath as well. And I'm just clearing a little bit away and cleaning a little bit of it up with my beauty blender. This has got no product on it, it's just whatever's left from me doing my face. And then to add a bit more depth, I took this black shade from the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette, and I ran that quite close to my lash line, again just to give it depth, and also into the crease to kind of deepen that a little bit more as well. So once I'm done with both my eyes looking as similar as possible, I'm taking whatever's left over on that brush and I'm dragging it straight up from my eyebrow. And this is going to create shadow. Then I'm taking the same brush that we used for the crease shade, and I'm just blending those lines out. And it basically looks like frown lines. It almost makes me look angry, but I promise you I'm not angry. And then taking this shade right here from the Naked Basics palette as well, I'm just applying that as an eyebrow highlight, just to pull the whole eye look together. Especially when I'm doing something quite intense like this, I like to make sure I have a good eyebrow highlight. Now, grabbing the shade, I'm basically just kind of figuring out where I wanted my contour to be. This is the first time I ever used like bright colors like this as a contour, so it was quite difficult to blend it. So definitely practice if you do want to use like this as your inspiration for Halloween. But here I'm taking Stealth from Makeup Geek, and I'm just building up that color, and I'm basically just going to build up with that color, and then I'm going to add the blue and the purples that we used on our eyes, and I'm just gonna contour my cheekbones. Take your time with this. I definitely did kind of do this a little bit quicker, so it's not as blended as I would have liked it to be. I actually wanted to use loads of different colors, but like I said, nothing worked out, so we're sticking with this kind of color theme. So here I'm just going in with the purple and trying to make sure that everything's nicely blended out, and I'm creating this like really chiseled kind of cut crease, not cut crease, like cut, like, you know what I mean, like a really intense contour. Now I'm just kind of weirdly hollowing out the corners of my forehead, and this is going to give it that extra skull-like appearance as well. Now taking this shade from the same Urban Decay Electric palette, I'm adding that on top of the blue that we applied initially on the eyes, and this is just gonna give it that really like electric blue effect. Like you can see, it's just really like bam, like in your face, which is definitely the look that I wanted to go for. So I'm making sure both my eyes are looking as similar as possible, and then moving on to eyeliner. So I'm using my Artist of Makeup eyeliner pen, and I will actually leave my in-depth eyeliner tutorial in the info box below, but I'm just creating a winged eye on both of my eyes. Nothing too thick, nothing way too dramatic. But yeah, just making sure that both my wings are as similar as possible, as always. And then using the L'Oreal Paris False Lash Sculpt Mascara. This is my favorite mascara ever. I'm putting that on to the top and bottom of my eyelashes. And next up, I moved on to my lips. So I actually went and did teeth and tried to add glitter and loads of colour, and it just looked not how I envisioned it to be. So I'm actually putting on this ABH liquid lipstick in the shade Potion first onto my lips, and then adding the NYX Suede one on top. I totally forgot to tell you guys, I did also line my waterline with black, but I can't find that footage anywhere. It's like disappeared. So I did also tightline as well. Now on top of that, I'm using ABH's Potion just to deepen it up a little bit. And here I'm just blending all the colours together and making sure that the lip line of my line is really nice and neat. Now moving on to the fake teeth, I'm using ABH's Creme Colour in the shade Jet. And as you can see, I've still got some lines there from when I did the teeth, and I left that there because I didn't want to completely redo everything. And I'm just creating small lines on the kind of like the outer part of my lip, as you can see. And then I went ahead and hollowed out my nose. So basically what I did here was I kind of drew a circle on my nose and then like two cracks almost on the top of it. It doesn't have to be neat, it doesn't have to be even. I actually think that the messier that it looks, I feel like it looks better if it's messier, you know. And I was going to leave this as this. Oh, here I'm just setting that in place with a black eyeshadow. I was going to leave it like this, and I was like, why the heck do I look like a scarecrow? And that is because I forgot to add the teeth on my lips. So I'm just taking the Artist of Makeup Extreme Art Liner pen, and I'm just going ahead and adding some fake kind of lines to make it look like I've got teeth. And that, you guys, is the final makeup look. I have popped in some contact lenses. I wish my eyes were like this in real life, but this, you guys, is the final look. You can definitely do it with different colors. You can do it with like greens and blues. So if you do want to take this colorful inspiration and like make it your own, please do tag me on Instagram and Twitter and all of that, because I would love to see your recreations. And of course, a thank you to Crispy for giving me the inspiration for this. And I guess that is all for now, you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.